Hi everybody, Brian from Steeda, talking you through our Bumpsteer kit for the S197 Ford Mustang, model years 2005 through 2014. To better understand what the Steeda Bumpsteer kit does, let's first talk a little bit about bump steer and where it comes from. Your suspension travels both upward and downward. Downward is rebound, upward is compression or bump. Now, as you're going across bumps, most importantly, as you're cornering hard and that outside corner is compressing or going into bump travel, what ends up happening is your lower control arm travels upward, obviously pivots on its inner point, as well as the steering tie rod ends. Both the outer end, which is connected to the inner end, pivots at the steering rack. And from the factory, those are designed to move on slightly different arcs. As the suspension travels further, as the bump is further, and you're cornering even harder, what ends up happening is that relationship becomes further and further and further apart. And what this does is the inner tie rod is holding on to the outer tie rod, which is connected to your wheel carrier. As the suspension is traveling, that length stays the same. But what ends up happening under travel is the wheel starts to turn. You're not turning it, the geometry, the change in suspension travel is turning it. This is bump steer. Why do you want to correct it? Better handling and sharper steering feel. So now that we understand what bump steer is and the idea that it is steering without your input as a driver through the suspension travel, especially in compression, let's move on to how to resolve this. And this is why we're talking about the Steeda Bumpsteer kit. The idea here is to try to keep the outer tie rod end and inner tie rod end, that relationship to the lower control arm, as close to parallel as possible. Keep those moving on as close to the same arc as possible, so that through the suspension range, that measurement, that length of the outer tie rod end to the inner tie rod end, that relationship remains the same and doesn't pull in on the wheel carrier as much. So setting this up is definitely not something that you're going to do at home unless you're doing mild alignments and race alignments at home already. And we know some of you are, which is awesome, but for the majority of you, you're going to want to take this to a local shop, a professional shop that has experience setting up bump steer. Doesn't matter if it's a Porsche or a BMW that they typically work on. A Mustang, trust me, they're seeing plenty of these cars nowadays because of how many people are taking them out to the racetrack. And that reminds me, for those of you autocrossing and taking your cars to track days or racing them competitively, this is a must-have. It's going to improve the cornering stability. It's going to reduce the scrub radius of the front tires. It's going to give you better feedback as a driver, which are all things so important to bringing down those lap times. For those of you driving the car on the street, you will also notice a substantial difference. You might not notice a difference in times because I doubt you're timing yourself on the street, but the reality is steering feel is going to be much improved and responsiveness is going to be greatly improved, so you will notice a difference. If you've installed these on your car, tell us, how do they affect your lap times and your autocross times? The steering feedback, please post below. All right, I digress. Let's get back on topic here. The advantage of replacing the factory outer tie rod end with the Steeda Bumpsteer kit is it gives you the flexibility and the tunability to set the height of the outer steering tie rod end to the wheel carrier. This is going to, again, impact how the car steers and feels. Whether you've lowered the car 1.5 inches or 1 inch or 1/2 inch or even its stock ride height, we have the spacers and provide the spacers with the kit to set the Bumpsteer kit up to match the ride height that you have the car set at, as well as how you're utilizing the car. This is why it's so important at installation. The professional shop does it and gets the car aligned perfectly. Now a little bit more about the Bumpsteer kit itself. As you look through each piece of the Steeda Bumpsteer kit, you'll notice right away the ultra-high grade of the materials used, starting with the adjustment collars that are built of aerospace CNC billet aluminum and then anodized blue for corrosion resistance, to the spherical bearings at the other end that are Teflon lined for durability and to remain quiet throughout their life. And speaking of life, these are backed by the Steeda lifetime warranty. But beyond all of this, what's really important about these is the heat-treated, hardened steel, tapered spindle stud that passes through the factory Ford Mustang wheel carrier. This is very important because it's tapered. This means no modification is required to the car to install these. As noted, we provide all the spacers needed to simply adjust the height of the Bumpsteer kit to the wheel carrier itself so that you can get the alignment dialed in and the performance dialed into your specifications. If you've gotten this far into your car and you're considering a Bumpsteer kit, another very strong consideration should be roll center correction, and this is done through the ball joints in the front control arms. And there's really two ways to do this. One is with the replacement ball joints. Extended height, this corrects roll center. And this is important if you've lowered the car. If the car is at the stock ride height, you can go with just the Bumpsteer kit, no problem. But we know that you've lowered the car, you've brought the center of gravity down, you've gone to stiffer springs, you want to throw this thing around corners. All right, so here we go. Extended height ball joints to correct roll center, Bumpsteer to set those angles close to each other. If you don't want to get into pressing new ball joints in, or likely that the rear bushing on your lower control arms has gone bad, we offer control arm with an extended height ball joint. Do these at the same time because the car is going to require an alignment anyway, and it allows you to set the bump steer level equal to the control arm, to the wheel carrier, and most importantly, dramatically improves the feel of the car and the cornering abilities of the vehicle. We utilize this Bumpsteer kit as well as the loaded lower control arms on our Q Series S197 Mustangs. And boy, if we put these things through our paces, I'm sure you've seen some videos of Chris and the guys absolutely enjoying, we'll say enjoying the cars. If you haven't, definitely check out social media for some of that footage. Likewise, if you enjoyed this video, definitely click like and share it with other enthusiasts. And most importantly, if you'd like to learn more about these products and the other products we offer for your Mustang, definitely visit Steeda.com. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.